In this lecture, we are going to generate event handler methods. An event handler basically is a method or a function that your program calls in response to an event that occurs. For example, if a button is clicked, that is an event. The program needs to call the event handler to respond to that click. Let's have a look at the code behind the form. So if I click on the title where it's got picture viewer, I just double click on it and it will show us the code, the skeletal code behind the form. So I just double click and it will reveal the form. So this is the actual code behind the form. So when you create a form or you create a button, there is a code that generates. It's called a stub. This is just a sample, a skeletal part of the code that you can build on. So I'll go back into the form designer, and if I scroll down, all these buttons, the event that occurs on the button mainly is a click. So when you click, that is an event. So when you click on a button, the program has to contact the event handler to respond to that click. So I'm going to click on all these buttons so you can see the code behind it. So I'll double click on the first button. You notice where the mouse cursor is flashing. This is where you have to write the code to respond to the event handler. This here is called, this piece of code here is known as an event handler. So it responds, you notice it's got the name of the button underscore click. The click here is the event. So we have to write the piece of code here that will respond to that button click. So let's do the same for the others. So here we've generated the stub of the method. A method is kind of like a function. So this here is an event handler method. So I'll go back to the form designer, double click on this to generate a stub as well. So that's a stub for this background button, and where the mouse cursor is flashing is where we'll write the code that will respond to that. So I'll go on and do the same for this and go back and do the same for that. So one more thing, I need to do this. This is the checkbox. The checkbox is not the event that occurs on the checkbox is not a click. It's a check. It checks to see if there have been changes in the box, if the box has been clicked or unticked. So I'll double click on that and you notice the name of the event is checked changed. So you're checking if the box has been checked or not. Whereas the event for the buttons is a click. So we're now going to write the code for each of these event handler methods. Remember, the methods are what the program will call to respond to an event. An event could be a mouse click or a checkbox that has been ticked or unticked. In this lecture, we have generated the event handler methods. In the next lecture, we're going to start writing the code that will respond to the event. So when an event has occurred, like a mouse click, the event handler, the relevant event handler is called by the program. So when it is called, it needs to execute a piece of code. And if you look between each of the event handler method, there are curly braces. You got the left and the right. In between the curly braces is where you write your code that will execute when the method is called. So we're going to write the code for each of these methods in our next couple of lectures. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye for now.